Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Not Without My Sister. With me, beauty guru Beatrice McCabe, and you, also beauty...
Glam goddess?
Well, I was going to say beauty product
Maven?
purchaser Rosemary McCabe.
Yeah, fair.
So I had the idea for today's episode as I was lying in bed about a week ago, and I had the genius pandemic idea of putting on some stick-on nails. Right, and I've never actually, it's ridiculous. I look at people's nails, I think there's a very Irish portion of me, right, where I'm like, those long, what are they called? Coffin nails. I'm like, those are ridiculous looking, etc. When I look at,
She couldn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how do people use these? But anyway, during the pandemic, I was like,
Billie Eyelashes is a prime example, of ridiculous nails.
But like Kylie Jenner, any of them, and they have kids and they hang around with their kids and she's in the kitchen going like, look at me cooking. I'm like, how is she cooking with those nails? How could she even touch the wooden spoon? Like, I don't know. So anyway, I was started to get targeted. I obviously was looking at these nails too much, and I started to get targeted by Static Nails, which is a company that does temporary nails. And I was like,
nail polishes.
And nail polishes.
Because I'm now being targeted by them as well.
All right. And I was like, maybe I should buy it. I was like, these look very sophisticated and reasonable and I should try them, etc., etc. So I went online and immediately bought 2 sets for myself and a set for you and a nail polish for each of us for good measure, just in case the nails didn't work. And then they sat in my drawer.
Can I just point out, these nails look lovely and they look much shorter in the box, because I almost put on a pair for when Brandon and I got married. Not a pair, a set. I almost put on a set when Brandon and I got married.
Pair, that would have been amazing. Just these 2 fingers.
Just 2. When I took them out of the box and laid them up against my nail, I was like, Jesus, these are very long. And they look really like natural shaped in the box. And then I felt like I put them on my nails. I was like, oh God, they're very long. So I didn't put them on.
I think the most alarming part was I was like, God, these thumbnail ones look massive. Who the hell has a thumb that size? And then I put it on my thumb and I was like, it's perfect fit. It was like Cinderella and the slipper. Oh, perfect. Anyway, so I had them at home, and I also got another set from Ipsy, a terrible white square pair. I don't know what I was thinking. Too. Like, what was I thinking?
I gave them away to someone very lucky.
I should give them away to somebody very lucky too. Anyway, so I was in bed last week, and I was like, I should put those nails on now. Really not something that I need to do. Like, a note to self in the future, put nails on in the morning, right?
I was just about to say, were you going to bed? That seems like an odd time.
It was stupid. Well, I've never done it before, so I didn't have any of these learnings. And
hang on, have you never got fake nails in the salon?
No, I haven't. And I've always been like, why would people get these fake nails? And what are these gel nails? Like, why am I so judgmental? And then I was like, why don't I obviously like these nails? I think they look nice. Why don't I put them on and just get on with things and stop? Why am I constantly trying to keep myself plain? This is Mom's fault.
Trying to keep yourself down.
God's honest hair. Why would you dye your lovely God's honest hair? Like, it's now going grey apart from anything else. Why would you pluck your eyebrows?
God's honest hair for years.
I know, she hates it every time. But now that I haven't been able to dye it for months as well, I actually have like these grey hairs coming out the top, which are so unrelaxing to me. I actually wish I could own grey hair and look amazing like a silver fox, but that's not the kind of grey hair I have, right? I have a couple of angry grey pubes that pop out on the top of my head.
Wiry. Mine are wiry as well.
And they're about 3 inches long, and they don't seem to get any longer than that. They just sit there going the opposite direction from my regular hair. Yeah. Anyway, back to the nails. So I was in bed and I put on half of them, and I was like, oh, these are really long. Oh yeah, no, I read the instruction. What the instructions actually said was put on plenty of glue, right? And then if you want, then put more and then hold them tight. And I was like, so I put them on. And now this is where I was going. I did have the thought did cross my mind mid-application that I am not the target audience for this, because the thought that I actually had after I'd put 4 of them on my left hand was, not the thumb, was, I don't think I'll be able to wear my washing up gloves with these, right? I don't know why that thought crossed my mind, but it did. And even then, I had this little voice in the back of my head going, these are not for you, right? So
Kylie Jenner manages to wash up just fine with hers.
What, right? All these thoughts. Anyway, so then Oh, then they started to feel really uncomfortable. I was very conscious of them.
Oh, they feel tight, don't they, when you first put them on?
They felt very tight. Then I started to feel really like I really need these off. So I read the thing and it said, I read the small print, which I had not read. I had only read the big print. And the small print said, if you want them on between 7 and 9 days, follow the instructions as per the manual. Copious amounts of glue, which is exactly what I had just done. If you only want them on for 5 days, put on a medium amount of glue. If you want them on for 1 to 2 days, put on a light smearing of glue. And I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to have to take these off. So I read down for the where to take these off. There is no, you can't take these things off. It says these will pop off at the end of
when they're ready.
At the end of their life cycle, basically. And then, which is also incredibly chic, I discovered, as they did pop off over the following 7 to 10 days.
Awful, isn't it?
Yeah, at one point, I opened the cupboard and one of them popped off into my cup of tea.
Oh,
right. They're not very convenient. They don't pop off on request. They pop off when they want to pop off. A bit like you. Anyway, so I finished them all, and then so I persevered. I'll go back to now this. Then I couldn't open the baby's bottle, it was actually great. I couldn't do anything that night except go to sleep. It was brilliant. I was like, Dawn, can you do everything now? Because I can't do anything. Then I lay in bed, but then I was so uncomfortable. I couldn't move around in the bed. I couldn't curl up. My nails were in the way. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't relax. I couldn't sleep.
I'm actually going to have to upload the picture that you sent me because really these nails were not that long.
They weren't that long.
Billie Eilish, Adele level nails.
It never occurred to me I couldn't type. I couldn't go to work. I wasn't going to be able to do anything.
Dear boss, I can't come in today. My nails are too long. Yours sincerely, Beatrice. Soz.
Exactly. So then I was reading, well, we all type incorrectly anyway, according to all these websites. We should be typing with the flat of our finger, not the tip of our finger. So I was like, oh, have I been typing wrong all these years? So I started typing with the flat of my finger. But let me tell you, it's not possible.
Crampy fingers. I know.
You don't get mad crampy fingers. You just can't type. You don't get the correct spellings.
When I had fake nails, I used to have to type and try and basically stretch my little fingers back.
That's exactly right.
So you're typing. Yeah, and it would really hurt my fingers after a while.
I didn't get that far because I couldn't even get one sentence correctly typed. I had to type really slowly. My middle fingers don't bend properly. It was extremely inconvenient.
So these nails are not for women who do their own washing up, women who have to type a lot. Mm-hmm. I'd say we could probably put Adele, Billie Eilish and Kylie in the opposite categories to these anyway.
You're probably right.
What else?
Women who have to open babies' bottles.
Yeah, fair.
I just couldn't do anything. Oh, I couldn't open a can of Coke. I couldn't open a can. And then I realized, well, you don't actually open a can with your nail. I think I got carried away. I just became convinced everything happens with a nail. It didn't. So I put my finger under the thing and opened the can. That was grand. Then a nail popped off, actually, while I was opening a can. That was super annoying. Anyway, then about 18 hours later, I think I got a text from you. Why don't you file these nails? I was like, great idea. So I filed them and then all was well. But it was a great example to me.
Did they all pop off then?
They popped, well, a couple of them popped off and I tried to glue that one back and it kept popping off. So then I just wrestled them all off and my nails are now wrecked, I'd like to say.
Oh, in shreds, yeah. It always ruins your nails when you do that.
Yeah.
I've had fake nails a couple of times. I've had the acrylic ones and I've had the gel ones and I've also had some weird kind of ones that I got done in Greece where... So the acrylic and the gel ones, they glue a fake nail to the tip of your nail. So they glue a tip on and then they cover the whole thing with gel to make it smooth.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If that makes sense. Whereas the one that I got done in Greece, they basically used this kind of powder thing and then built the nail out. So it was almost like they just did it by little by little and then they'd put you under the UV and then do another little bit on the tip and put you under the UV. But the very first time that I got fake nails, I think they were acrylics. They were really long. They were kind of oval. I always went natural, which is lol because they never look natural. And then I got home that day and I got my period.
Okay.
And I had to try and put in a tampon, Beatrice.
Not a clove of garlic, rosemary.
No, Beatrice. This was another time. But the problem isn't so much actually inserting the tampon, it's cleaning the nail afterwards. Because that's revolting. There was another time when I had these really long acrylic nails and
Rosemary, my silence is revulsion. My silence is why do you always have to bring this
in your face
to some kind of
why do I always have to bring this into my love tunnel? I just do.
Yeah, why do you? Why Why do you? Oh,
sorry. I'm trying to move on from that now. I was cycling into town one day and I went to unlock my bike, and whatever way I had to pull the U-lock, and my nail caught in, I think the what's it called? The you know the like bar, the crossbar. Sorry, my nail caught in the crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. And the whole nail cracked in half, and with it took half of my own nail.
Oh.
And so it was kind of half stuck on, and my nail was starting to bleed like underneath the nail. So there was all this blood gathering under the gel. And I remember going into about 3 different nail salons in town, almost crying, going, "Can you please remove this for me?" And eventually, like, most of them were like, "Sorry, we don't have an appointment until like tomorrow at 2." And I was like literally going, my nail is like, I am dying. Look at this nail.
Was it your middle
And then eventually,
finger?
yeah, it was my middle finger. And then I eventually went into Tropical Popical and they filed it off for me on South William Street, which was very nice of them.
That certainly was.
But that was grim. Yeah.
Gross.
And I think that might be the last time I got fake nails. But now that I'm looking at my nails, I'm like, maybe it's time to go back again. Although, you know what the problem was? When I had these fake nails, I felt very glam and like lovely when I was dressed up, which is approximately 3% of the time. And the rest of the time I just felt like gross. Like here, like I'm in my tracksuit and I have these big long nails, or like I'm wearing leggings and an oversized hoodie, I look ridiculous. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you see, that goes back to the reason I thought this would be a good topic is because after I had these nails, I kind of was debating with myself, like, why do I have this hang up about some of these things that are pretty normal beauty, you know, standard beauty accessories? Like, why do I feel ridiculous putting on fake nails when not everybody else, when plenty of other people feel like this is just part of my look? Like, I did have to admit that I did feel very polished as I drove around with the window down and my hand out. And I kept admiring my nails, but I couldn't put the other hand out. I kept having to hide my thumb as well, because that was one of the first to pop off. So that was really annoying. Right?
Because I honestly think, Beatrice, there are some women in life who are glam, and there are some women in life who wish they are glam. And I think I am somebody who wishes they were glam.
But
and
Rosemary,
no matter,
being glam,
I'm the person.
But being glam is taking the wish and making it reality. Like, why do I not? It's not about the effort. It's like, I feel a bit ridiculous. Why? What in my life has made me feel a bit ridiculous? Which then also goes to, do you remember I told you the story of like, what would I give for a great set of eyelashes? Anything.
But you've never got fake eyelashes. Why not?
Oh, yes, I have, Rosemary. Oh, yes, I have.
Have you?
Yes.
Tell me.
That was the other mini disaster. I've always had an eyebrow obsession, and I've always had eyelash obsession, but I have teeny tiny stubby eyelashes. And in a stroke of fate that is so unfair, every one of my sons who doesn't need beautiful, long, glorious eyelashes,
very long eyelashes,
has the most feathery. Do they? I'm going to check later on.
Yeah, Don has long eyelashes.
Does he? Why are you looking so closely at Don's eyes?
I don't know, just like whenever I see Don and I give him a hug and I breathe in his scent and I look closely into his eyes, I notice that his eyelashes are very long.
Breathe in his scent.
He does have long eyelashes.
Does he?
You don't even look at your husband.
Yeah. I don't. Obviously, I don't. Well, the other day I was like, oh, his eyes are a different colour than I thought.
God, I actually have no idea what colour Brandon's eyes are.
Yes, you do. They are brown.
Are they?
Yes, they're brown.
Oh.
Are you joking? You don't know what colour his eyes are?
No. You just said you didn't know what colour your husband's eyes were.
No, I didn't. I said the shade had changed, but maybe it's changed because he's gotten older. He's 41 now.
The shade, the hue, the tone, they've just gone up an increment. Go on anyway. Your eyelashes are shit, and then what happened?
So anyway, I always wanted fake eyelashes, but again, I always felt like, sure, why would I get them? I don't have an occasion. Like, why am I not a sufficient occasion? Why am I myself? Why is it not enough that I would just feel great? Why am I the mug? Exactly, Rosemary. Thanks. So anyway, before I had Nash, Julie was always getting fake eyelashes. Well, had gotten fake eyelashes on occasion. I wouldn't say always, and she was always talking about how great they were. And right before I went into hospital, but the week before I was due, she goes, you should go and get your nails. But this was a real American thing. And I would think it's now a universal thing, but maybe it was always a universal thing. And I just didn't know. It was like, have you got your nails done before you go into hospital? And I was like, why would I? But when I saw the pictures of me holding Nash with my cruddy nails, I realised why I should have gotten that manicure. But anyway, Yeah, I know.
I thought you were supposed to get a wax, but go on anyway.
What? Who cares about that?
People now get a wax.
Yeah, they
so
do.
That they don't have to be shaved.
Yeah, they
by someone else. You know what I mean?
Who gets shaved? That's a story Mom told you.
Shaved you. Oh yeah.
That's Mom's story.
Sorry. You know when I went in for my 10-week scan, Mom said to me, I was talking to her a couple of days before, and she goes, "Now make sure you bring a sample." And I was like, "Sorry, sample of what? What are you talking about?" She's like, "A urine sample
of your writing."
And I was like, "A urine sample? What are you talking about, Mum?" She's like, "You have to bring one with you." And I was like, "No, you don't. You just do it there." I always had to bring one with me. I'm like, in 1985.
God. And she probably had to get 2 buses, those poor people on the bus beside her. Little did they know, in her handbag.
She probably just had it out, like dangling from the end of her hand. Go on anyway. So, did you go and get your lashes done? I can't believe you went and got your lashes done, didn't get your nails done.
Oh, well, I know, right? So I went down to, because we lived in Brooklyn, and we lived on Nordstrom, that's not correct. Nostrand Avenue, I wish. Nostrand Avenue, right beside me, was full of beauty salons. So I went down to the local beauty salon. I said, I'd love to get fake eyelashes. And they were like, grand. So they put the eyelashes on me, and then I went home. And
were they very long?
They weren't that long, but they put them on at a weird downward angle, and I couldn't see anything, right? And I was like, Don, is this normal? I was texting Julie, I could barely see on my phone to text. I was like, is it normal that I can't see anything? They genuinely put them at like a 60-degree slanting downward angle. And all I could see was these mad lashes, right? And then I was like, these are really actually burning me. And my eyes started to burn really, really, really badly. Yeah, really badly.
They obviously didn't do a patch test.
Painfully.
You should have gone to a reputable salon where they did a patch test.
This was reputable-ish. I don't know. I mean, it was just the random locals. So I go back down, and Don was like, "You need to go back down there right now, and you need to tell them to take these off." So I go back down, and I'm like, I could barely see it. Like, I had to shuffle down slowly, walking slowly so I wouldn't trip on my way back to the salon. And I was like, imagine as well, 9 months pregnant, right? And I'm like,
please, sir, could somebody help me?
Yeah.
I can't see.
I go, please, sir, could somebody help me? I can't see, and this is burning. And they go, oh, okay, well, we don't. So what do you want us to do? And I go, could you remove them? We don't know how to remove them. And I go, do you not have like any dissolving solution or anything? And they're like, no. So I had to go home.
Yes, Beatrice, a reputable salon. Sounds like it.
Right. Well, I had to go home and slowly, agonizingly tear the eyelashes off my eyes.
And with them every single crappy spindly eyelash you had.
Precisely. So then not only was I 9 months pregnant with no manicure, I also was now owlishly bald around my eyeballs. I had no protection at all from the dirt and wind that was blowing up and down those New York City streets. I know.
And like your eyebrows are meant to protect you as well, and yours are not really doing a great job of that either.
The state of you.
So happy. I'm so happy with myself.
Anyway, so it was an absolute disaster. So that was what I had this flashback after I put those nails on in bed and had the marigold gloves moment. I thought to myself, what is it about me? Why does beauty not love me? Why am I too pragmatic for beauty?
Life's truly existential questions.
Right?
I've had fake eyelashes done a couple of times. I think the first time I got them done, similar to you, they weren't on at the wrong angle. I think I just decided I didn't like them after a couple of days. So I went into town to Sally Services, one of these like wholesale places, and I bought this eyelash remover. And I came home and it basically was like, dab a bit on a cotton bud and then dab it into the root of the eyelash and then wait for it to loosen. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of faff. So I put a whole load on a piece of cotton wool and basically soaked my eye in it. Oh my God, I'm lucky I can still see. I think it was acetone or something. The agony of it. Like literally directly into my eyes.
So many of your stories are like, I just didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to follow those instructions. So I did what I wanted to do. Oh my God.
I know, it was desperate. But then I actually got fake eyelashes a lot. I used to go to a great guy in town who did really, because I have rubbish eyelashes as well. They're very short and they're very straight.
Absolutely crap. They're even worse than mine.
I know, they're absolutely terrible. Thanks for that. I used to go to him and he would basically do like as natural, you know what I mean? Like as natural as possible. So they would be quite short. And I remember one of my friends being like, would you not go for the the proper, the full effect? And I was like, no, it just looks ridiculous on me. Because half the time I don't really like wearing makeup. I'm a very natural cool girl.
Don't like wearing makeup, but the other half you trowel it on with like
the
gay
other half I
abandon.
absolutely trowel it on. Oh, sorry. Speaking of troweling on the makeup and makeup disasters, this is it, right? The very first time I went to see my therapist happened to coincide with the night of my friend Kate's birthday, that she was having drinks in this pub in Ballsbridge. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to combine these two events. But it was when I was editing that hairdressing magazine, so I had not Tony and Guy, Brown Sugar had offered me free hair and makeup services whenever I wanted them, that I could going to get a blow dry. Oh yeah, and I just got my extensions. So I went into...
Oh my God, your
Brown
extensions
Sugar.
were amazing. We'll talk about them in a second. They were amazing.
Okay. So I went into Brown Sugar, got a blow dry, got a full face of makeup, like proper Instagram makeup. You know what I mean? Like proper, like fake eyelashes, contour...
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like lip liner up to my nostrils, practically like full on. And then went to my therapist. And I think the next week when she saw me, that like the following week when I arrived in with my hair in a ponytail, no makeup, she was literally like, who are you? And I remember the whole time being really self-conscious. I mean, this is a really bad age. Just going to get a really like the wrong impression of what kind of person I am. Because I was sitting there like dolled up to the nines.
So judgmental, Rosemary. What kind of person would you be just because you've more makeup on? The same person, just with makeup on.
Just like a glamour. I'm like a more glam person. I didn't want her to think I was glam.
Why not?
I wanted her to know that I was just like salt of the earth. Cool girl, just casual, laid back, salt of the earth person.
I can't. You're such an
But
idiot.
you know what? I loved those hair extensions at the time.
Oh my God, I loved them. I still love every picture of them. You were like a mermaid. Yes, I wanted to go and get them. But again, why didn't I? And you know what? In this pandemic... perfect moment for me to go and get hair extensions and then just suddenly emerge a year later and be like, I've been growing my hair for a year.
Why don't you go down to Danielle in the warehouse salon and get hair extensions?
I think I will.
Extensions.
Because I'm 42 now. Is that ridiculous? I think I should.
No. Listen, J-Lo's 50 and she's still at it.
Oh, yeah.
You and J-Lo are practically the same.
Good point. I should take up pole dancing as well.
You should. Very good for the upper body strength.
I mean.
What I was going to say was I did love them until one day you sent me a photograph of myself with my hair extensions that said, oh my God, you look like Hagrid or an extra from Game of Thrones.
That was just the particular day that was in it.
It was very bad.
But your hair was amazing. And I bet you your boyfriend at the time loved it because boys love jeans, stripy t-shirts and long hair.
He did, but you know what? He also really, really loved my pixie cut, although I do wonder if that was because my pixie cut coincided with me having lost like 50 pounds. And so I did wonder if he just like loved this new, confident, go-getting
I loved your pixie cut too. It was adorable. You looked just like Mom, which was
just like Mom.
So cute. So cute.
I know. I have a photo of the two of us together where we literally look like twins. Or like
so
it looks
cute.
like I've done that aging thing on myself and it's just me next to my old self.
Older.
It's so cute. But Beatrice, those hair extensions, that was another like near beauty disaster. I got them done. I think I paid for the cost of the extensions because again, it was when I was editing that magazine and the salon was like, come in and we'll do them for you. So I went in absolutely hanging. I don't know where I'd been the night before. I was so hungover. My appointment was at something like 10 a.m. The extensions, I wasn't finished until after they had closed. I was there for 8.5 hours getting these extensions done. I remember at one stage I'd been there for about...
Is that because of the circumference of your head is so big?
Yes, I was just about to say, because I was sitting in her chair, right? Well, firstly, she had to colour... So, like, there was a whole thing. She had to, like, strip my hair and then colour it to match the extensions because whatever colour my hair was before, it was a really terrible, like, yellowy blonde. But there was a whole process. But at one stage, she'd gone through, like, what looked like 60 billion packets of hair. And she was, like, attaching these to my head. And she goes, do you find it hard to get hats to fit?
How dare she? Do you?
Oh, my God. I've never found a hat to fit my head in my life.
There was a hat that almost
bicycle
fit
helmet. Shut up. My bicycle helmet was a men's XXL. Like, honestly, I have a huge head, which makes me very worried about childbirth.
I was just about to say that.
I know. I remember turning around to her and being like, oh my God, because my head's so big. And she was like, yeah. She's like, usually I'd be finished by now with the amount of packets she'd gone through, basically. They had to use something like 3 times the amount of hair for my enormous cranium.
Don't be ridiculous. 3 times the amount of hair. Your head is not 3 times as big.
And I fell asleep twice. So hungover. I fell asleep in the basin at one point. There waiting for the colour.
In the basin? The most uncomfortable place in the world.
Yeah, no, I know, Beatrice, I know.
Is this a joke? Is this literally, in the last mini-sode, I talked to you about how I fell asleep on the stairs, stone drunk at 3 a.m. and you said, how could you fall asleep? You fell asleep in the basin.
I fell asleep in a massage chair, Beatrice. You fell asleep on a concrete step.
Excuse me, they were carpeted. They were carpeted.
Please. They were probably full of the germs of 1,000 people. Does that even occur to you?
I'm sure they were filthy. Oh my God, I'm sure they were filthy. What about, you used to get an awful lot of fake tan as well.
I definitely went through a phase of getting, I wouldn't say an awful lot of fake tan. I could never do it myself. So basically, anytime I did it myself, I'd have streaks from like toe to temples. That was good, wasn't it? Bit of alliteration for you there. But yeah, so anytime I wanted a fake tan, I'd have to go and get a spray tan. And I remember one of the very first times I went was for my friend's wedding. And I was her bridesmaid. There were 3 of us. And she'd asked us all to get fake tans so that we'd all be like similar shades of, I don't know, orange. And no, it was actually nice. Just like a light golden tan. But I went to this salon in Drumcondra and I remember I cycled there. And it was only when I emerged like clammy back in my tracksuit that I was like, this probably wasn't the best idea. When I woke up the next morning, I basically had streaks everywhere. And it wasn't even far away, but like, I sweat a lot. So basically, as soon as my bum hit the saddle, I began to perspire. And I had all these streaks like under my boobs, around my belly button, going from my armpit like down to my hips. Oh my God, it was terrible. Luckily, the dress covered most of it.
When I told Don about the topic of this episode, he came up with it. Did you hear how delighted he was? He was like, do you remember that time you got that really bad fake tan? I was like, no, I have no recollection of it. But according to him, I do remember at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to do all my own fake tan. And I said to him when he was down at the shops, I said, will you get me some fake tan? And he came back with 5 different variants. Some of them were like super dark. And I think in a moment of optimism, I decided, do you know what? I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to go the whole hog.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I did. And it was appalling. I think I also didn't wait.
Start with.
Well, I did. And I didn't wait long enough for it to dry either before I went to bed. Yeah. And the next morning I woke up and there was just streaks down the back from my knee to my ankle. And my feet looked like one of my kids had like taken an aerosol spray gun and just randomly fired darts at the top of my feet. It was a disgrace.
Was this when you were working in DVF?
Potentially.
This is the reality of working in fashion that they don't show on Emily in Paris. They need to show Emily like going home, getting absolutely hammered, doing terrible fake tan, and then like eating focaccia in her kitchen at 2 a.m. This is the reality. That would be my reality more than yours.
Well, I wouldn't be eating the focaccia, Rosemary. I'd be looking longingly at the focaccia and eating probably nothing, finishing my champagne.
Drinking a Diet Coke, using it to pop off your fake nail.
Exactly. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to go upstairs. The best ones I think are those tan wipes. I got targeted on Instagram by some Coco and Me or something.
Did you buy it?
No, I nearly did. And then I was like, what am I like? I have 7 things of fake tan upstairs. But I do like those wipes. I think they're the easiest to put on. I
got targeted today for as I said this out loud, I'm regretting saying this out loud, for a multicolored like marble MacBook cover. And reader, I bought it.
Did you?
Oh, I bought it. Yes, I did. Look gorgeous, gorgeous.
I bought a load of plants today. I bought a lilac bush and a gooseberry plant and some rhubarb plants.
In Menards?
No, just online. They're going to arrive sometime in the next month. Yeah, I bought them because I was like, I'd love gooseberry fool. Delicious.
I love gooseberry fool. Sorry, can we just get back to you being a bitch for a second though? Do you remember the time that you and so we were coming back, when we were living in Milan, we were flying home from Milan to go to Roseanne's wedding. And the day before we flew home, we'd both booked to go for facials in the place around the corner where you'd got your laser hair removal and she'd made you shave beforehand.
My God.
Or wax. She waxed you beforehand.
Julie and I spent €2,000 each when we barely had a penny to rub between us. And over the course of 6 months, we allowed this absolute weapon of a French esthetician who had something mean and judgmental to say every time you'd come in like, oh, your paws are extremely large, or oh, your legs have put on a few pounds, or like every now and then she'd be super shocked. Oh, you have lost the weight. You look good. And like, do you know what I mean? I do not need that every Saturday morning, like somebody just past remarkably commenting on my...
And still you went back Saturday after Saturday.
Well, at this point we'd done the payment plan.
Spent the money.
We'd done the payment plan and we were doing, laser hair removal, and only discovered years later that she'd been shaving us prior. So
waxing you. No,
waxing us.
Yeah,
she'd done full hair removal beforehand. It was agony as well. Absolute agony. I have very tender skin.
And of course it didn't work because you're supposed to shave beforehand so that they can get the follicle.
Yeah,
where she was ripping out the whole thing.
Yeah. Moron.
Aegis. Anyway, you and I had booked in to get these facials, and I was going first, which is actually a cautionary tale. Should never go first for anything. It was like the day before Roseanne's wedding. We were flying back. I think we were flying back that night. Anyway, I went down to get this. I mean, to call it a facial, Beatrice, is poetic license. It was like facial torture. I don't know. I mean, it was nothing relaxing about it. It was agonizing. I don't even remember anything smelling good. She did like extractions on, I'd say she found pores where never before there had been a pore. I emerged looking like a plucked turkey. Like my face was roaring red.
Christmas
like,
Day turkey.
And also, also so swollen. I was in agony. And I remember coming back up to the apartment and being like, I hope this goes down by tomorrow. Do you think it'll go down? And you immediately were like, I'm cancelling mine. Literally like, I'm not going. And I remember it was so unfair.
Wouldn't I have been more of a fool to go? I should have sent you before me to that hairdresser in Milan as well when I went in to go blonde. Did you remember? Inspired by your success with blonde hair, I didn't realise that I actually have a much pinker based skin tone, which was actually irrelevant because when I went in and asked them to bleach my hair, I said I really wanted blonde bleach. They were like, really? Well, they had me there for about 8 hours. And then at the end, they were like, we just can't get this blonde. The green should go down. And they just kicked me out onto the street with green hair. Do you not remember this? Absolute disaster. I went home and cried my eyes out. And it was green. I had to live with green hair.
You were, sorry, back to Billie Eilish, but you were before your time. You started the trend before it was a trend.
It didn't look as good. Didn't look deliberately green. It looked vaguely chlorinated. It was hideous. And dry. Like so dry.
Do you remember I got the perm in Milan? Under your careful tutelage, because you've got a perm.
Yeah, I loved perm. I loved a perm. Good perm. Oh my God, mine was hilarious. But like looking back, I loved it at the time, but it was hilarious.
Is this the photo we have of you in the restaurant where your hair is just a complete circle?
Yeah, it was amazing.
You look like that picture of like Madonna and Child, you know, she has the halo like right around her head.
Yeah. Yesterday I was like looking at the top of my hair going, I actually look like Elizabethan Queen Elizabeth, the top of my, like, should I get a fringe? Because I have such a massive forehead. But I also am not sure if my forehead was always, look, you can't even see me. And I have to like go all the way down so you can see the top of my forehead. And I couldn't even decide actually.
We both have massive foreheads.
No, I think mine is receding since the birth of child number 2 when my hair started to fall out. Do you remember that? Oh. And it was so unfortunate because Don, when we lived in New York, Don had come home one night on the subway looking super just shook, as they say. And I said like, what's up? He goes, oh, there was this woman on the subway and she had female pattern baldness. He goes, it's really sad, just terrible. I mean, I just feel so bad for women whose hair falls out. And then after baby number 2, all my hair started to fall out. And he couldn't even look at me. But I was so panicked. And every time I'd say it to him, he'd be like, it's going to be okay. But I knew he didn't mean it. He was really like, he was at night, like probably rubbing Rogaine into my temples.
I don't want to turn everything around to me. I do. And I feel very sorry for you and your female pattern baldness. But like, I've got dandruff now in this pregnancy. And if I lose all my hair, my hair is my crown and glory. If I lose my hair, that's it. All I have left is a huge head and tiny facial features.
Tiny eyelashes.
Tiny
triangular nostrils.
A tiny mouth. Yeah, huge nostrils. And a huge head. I'm glad you're finding this amusing because I'm really quite concerned.
But I'm trying to think of what I could say. You're gorgeous, okay? You're grand. And you've got really nice small ears.
Even keep a straight face. You have very small ears,
You've got nice
God.
flat ears. But listen, we're going to go to Montreal, so even if the worst happens, we'll have great eyebrows. Okay.
British Columbia.
Okay, we'll have great eyebrows. And that's all you need to pull off a Sigourney Weaver.
Speaking of weaves, I'm gonna have to get a wig.
Oh God, you'll end up looking like John Travolta with his weird hair implants. No, you're good.
No, sorry, I'd actually just get a good wig. I watch YouTube videos of people having good wigs, and I'm gonna get a good wig.
Yeah, wigs are actually amazing if you get a good one. I mean, they look.
But I feel like I'd be sweating so much under there.
Oh my God, you would. You'd look. I mean, you would. You'd look great though.
Everyone would, Beatrice. Everyone would sweat a lot under a wig.
You do sweat a lot though. I mean, I probably would be grand, honestly. Except I feel like I'd be really claustrophobic under a wig.
Oh my God, you would be really claustrophobic.
I mean, if my nails, if my nails were anything to go by. Oh, do you remember at that time? I used to wear that fake ponytail that I absolutely loved.
Oh my God, I remember you with
in
that
Paris.
fake ponytail.
I have a picture of that. It was amazing.
Ponytail. It wasn't the ponytail you loved. It was yourself with the ponytail long hair.
Oh my God, I loved yourself with that myself ponytail with long hair. I loved it. I definitely need to get the extensions. I definitely need to. That's it. I'm going to emerge from the pandemic. I'm going to emerge.
Yeah, I would like you to emerge from the pandemic like the ugly duckling, like a swan, basically from ugly duckling to swan. And they'll be like, oh my God, I thought Beatrice had female pattern baldness. And you'll be like, not anymore, bitches.
I'll be like, even if I do, the rest of my thinning hair is extremely long. Right.
And you'll have like really, really thick eyebrows and fake eyelashes.
Oh my God, I'm actually going to be amazing. I'm going to have at least 9 of my nails will be intact at any given time and 1 in my pocket.
And as long as nobody looks at your ankles, your fake tan will be golden and delightful.
Oh, not going to be golden. It's going to be hazelnut. It's going to be
chocolate. Oh,
glorious. I'm going to look amazing.
I'm just going to look the same, but with a huge belly and probably less hair.
The belly's there's a baby in that belly though, so it's all right. The problem is once the baby comes out and then like 9 months later, you're like, how much longer can I call this postpartum wait?
No, I think actually my tactic is going to be, it's good that Brandon doesn't listen to this anymore. Going to pop out the baby and then get pregnant again as quickly as possible.
Oh God, that's a good one. Even if Brandon doesn't participate, that should be your plan. Yeah, I feel like my problem is right now, like baby is nearly 3, so I keep calling him the baby, but I don't know if people are falling for it.
And he hasn't been out with you in ages, so like people could think you still have a baby. Do you know what I mean? Like because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So like people in work haven't seen him.
Wait till the weather gets warmer and I have to get into my summer clothes. You'll be like, oh. But you know what? I'm still nice. And I'm going to look so great. You know what? My chub's going to look amazing. Hazelnut chub is going to look better.
And you have a laugh that could cure cancer. So,
listen, Rosemary. So, Rosemary, based on this conversation and our evident expertise in the field of beauty, in the arena of beauty, you know, what would your top tips be for anybody listening right now? Like, what should people take away from this? What should their learnings be from this episode?
Okay, always get a patch test.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
When you're getting anything attached to actually anything applied to your skin, hair, eyes, nails, I don't really care so much. Get a patch test. Don't worry. Basically, if you're worried about what your therapist thinks of your looks, you're probably underestimating him or her, or else they're not a good therapist. And also, maybe have a supply of sanitary towels on hand in case you ever get fake nails and get your period.
Good God. I would say read the instructions and make sure you are clear on, twice. But
sorry, I would actually like to point out, just before we finish up, we have had actually quite good success with dyeing our own hair in the past. I feel like we've done a box dye more than, like I've done a box dye more than once, you've done a box dye more than once, and they've always been like, not amazing. And I'm glad now that I'm going to a salon and letting a professional do it for me with like beautiful tonal shades.
Yeah.
But like, it's always been grand.
I thought they were fine as well until the last time I did one. I was actually at the beginning of the pandemic because we weren't obviously going out to hairdressers.
When you were in a pan panic.
Yeah, exactly, a pan panic. And I got a shade too dark. And then when I went to the actual salon afterwards, so many people were like, oh my God, your hair looks so much better. Oh my God, your hair looks great. That I realised maybe these box shades weren't good all along, but that I just didn't have anything to compare it to. So now I'm never doing it myself
knew, though,
again.
As well. Like we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Facebook. You didn't really, like, I don't really remember ever going, oh my God, she's got a terrible dye job, unless it was like atrociously terrible. You know what I mean? We all just looked a bit crap for a while, I think. But it was grand. But you know what? You know what all of this has made me think? Like, I'm going to be fully vaccinated in 6 weeks. I want to get my lashes done.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I want to get my nails done. I want to get a pedicure.
I want to get a peel. I want to get a facial peel.
Oh my God, I actually really want to get that dermaplaning thing where they take all the peach fuzz off your face. That's what I want.
Oh, I don't have any, so don't need any. Oh yeah, you've got all those beard hairs, but I don't have any of those either.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Not Without My Sister. You can get us on Instagram at Not Without My Sister and email us notwithoutmysis@gmail.com. Our website is notwithoutmysis.com, and you can get me on Instagram at Rosemary McCabe with an A on my Mac. Beatrice is on there too, but she never uploads, so don't bother following her.
Absolute weapon. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye. Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity, sound and original music by Don Kirkland, and our original illustration is by Lindsay Nielsen.
Not Without My Sister is a member of The Warren, the home of great Irish podcasts. As is my podcast, Meet Your Maker. You'll find more great shows at thewarren.ie.